Another great night of two-out hitting. Last two nights have been pretty relentless. What have you noticed the differences in the at-bats with two outs from the last two nights compared to some of the games that you've struggled with?
Yeah. I thought situationally all night we were pretty good. With the two-out hitting, maybe guys are more relaxed. I think some of it, is stuff, but doing a pretty good job of getting in hitters counts and then doing something. But as I said last night, if you score 2-out RBI, you're generally going to be on the positive side of things. So it's good that we continued that.
From up top, it looked like Sam was having a hard time setting up all of his pitches. What did you see from down in the dugout?
Yeah, I mean it wasn't the sharpest outing by him, but we've been asking him to do something he's probably not more set up to do for us when we drew this thing up in the off season. But we know that he's going to compete. We know that he's going to throw multiple pitches in the zone. He just didn't have it tonight. So.
Was he really frustrated when you decided to go to the bullpen at all?
No, I mean, because the way this thing sets up is we're going to try to win every baseball game and play it a little unconventional and not necessarily name 3 starters. So I just told him, I said, right now it doesn't look like you have it. We'll get you out, 46 pitches, but be ready to be in relief tomorrow. So, and I mean that. Like, we'll go to him tomorrow if we have to try to get a win.
So Skip, every guy starting for you guys tonight had a hit, five guys with multi-hits in the game. What was so great about the plate approaches?
I think guys are doing a little bit better job of early in the count, getting after it a little bit, but then once they get 2 strikes on them, shorten it up and put it in play for the team. And we had some bad at-bats there in the last inning. I think bottom of the 8th it was. The guys kind of got away from that a little bit, but I just think it's executing the plan and putting balls in play. You put balls in play, good things happen.
And Hunter Jump starting night, he had 3 hits. Really looked great at the plate the whole night. What did you see from him?
Played with a little chip on his shoulder, a little edge. I made a little. I'll share that story with you some other time. But he's a guy that's been working hard in practice, and the message with the team as of late is like, look, man, we're struggling in some areas, and it's wide open. There are still positions to be had, and you keep working, you keep coming with a good attitude, and you produce. You will be written in there, and I'll go ahead and share it with you. No, it's kind of funny now, and truth be told, I'll tell that part at the end. But so we're in practice on Wednesday, and Jump's been kind of chomping at the bit. We didn't take him to Stanford, and he was kind of bitter about that, which I love. I love that, and I heard him kind of popping off at the end of practice that he was a little frustrated with some of the pitching, and he popped off about he could throw the baseball 87 miles an hour and this and that. So I overheard that, and I said, well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Jump, we'll make a little bet here. I said, if you get up on that mound, you throw the baseball 86, so he backed off, 86 miles an hour, which is hard to do, by the way. I said, you throw that baseball 86 miles an hour, I'll give you a start this weekend. However, if you don't hit that after popping off, I will not put you on the roster this weekend to play. And of course, the team's all oohing and all and whatever. So that actually happened before practice, because now I'm feeling badly because here's the truth be told part. I was going to start him the game anyway. But now we already put ourselves out there. I'm like, if he doesn't hit this 86, I wasn't going to put him on the roster because I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. But he jumped up there after practice in front of everybody, all the guys curious to see what happened, and he hit actually 87 within 4 throws. So he thinks in his mind he earned a start with that, but I was going to start him. But that's kind of how he is. I mean, I truthfully, like, I admire that he put himself out there, and I appreciate that. And thank goodness he hit it, because I would have sat him out.
So after he goes 3-4 and has really great stuff at the plate, does he get to start tomorrow?
Well, I mean, we're going to look at the pitching matchup or whatever. That position's been a little bit of a platoon situation for us anyway. But you know, you produce, you play. So we'll take a look at the matchup because we got some other guys doing it on the right side, but you know, he certainly is in discussion.
Spencer Van Scory had a impressive outing out of relief today. What good things do you see from him
Well,
today?
what's good about him, and if you follow the program closely, I mean, we were counting on him to give us some quality innings. This didn't start off that way. We shut him down basically for 2 or 3 weeks and said we're starting over physically and mentally. And I think he's done a fantastic job of embracing that and seeing that, because I believe it's probably his last 4 outings. He's been really clean and throwing the baseball like he's capable. It's a great sign for us moving forward. It may be a little too little, too late in terms of national rankings and things like that, because we'd certainly like to have that early. But it's definitely something to build on as we move forward. If we get that Spencer Van Scoy, in addition to some of the other guys developing, in addition to some of the guys that we're bringing in here through the recruiting, that's what it's supposed to look like. So I'm proud of him for really embracing what's being done and not hanging his head and accepting the challenge, because that's a tough thing. You start Friday night of the season opener, and then you're basically taken off, and it wasn't injury, and you're taken off the shelf for a month and said we're starting over. Not a lot of guys would handle that in the way that he's handled it, so I'm really proud of him.
A couple errors from Drew tonight, the block from Chaz. Are you at least encouraged that maybe now the team, while they still might make those mental mistakes, they're maybe finding the way to overcome them finally that was plaguing you guys early on?
Yeah, I didn't see the ball. I'm sure he did. I just didn't see exactly what he did. But specifically with Drew Swift, I mean, and I'll say this, I mean, Drew Swift could make 5 errors in a row, and I'd still sit in here and tell you that's one of the best shortstops in the country. So I don't worry about that with him. He doesn't take it. He won't let the next one affect him. But yeah, I think it's just, I've said all along, this team just needs to learn how to win. And another step in the right direction tonight, because we throw it, it was very frustrating. You throw up a 4 spot in the bottom of the second, you go out and give up a 4 spot on some of the things that you said. But the fact that we were able to offensively overcome that is progression, it is growth.
Do you think Spencer Torkelson's changed his approach any in the leadoff, or did he kind of have like a leadoff type approach anyway?
No, I mean, guys have been pitching around him, anyway. But no, you watch him. I keep saying it's a special approach that he has, and he's a dangerous hitter, but he will take a walk if you give it to him. And anybody paying admission to see him hit, I've continued to do that, because these type of guys are rare. I can tell you that. And but he keeps amazing me, because a lot of times young hitters, they will fall in love with that and start getting big with their swing. He has not done that and won't do that, because he has a plan and he executes his plan.
Is that part of why you moved him into the leadoff role, because people were pitching around him?
Rob, were you not here last night?
I was not, sorry, sir.
Can we get some help, class? No, just I want him to the plate. I want him to the plate as often as we can. I mean, we don't have a true leadoff guy per se. It's about getting on base, and as many times as I can see that guy walk into the batter's box, I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Chaz Montoya had a little bit of a rough beginning to his outing tonight, but he ended up pitching really well and kind of saving the pen for you guys. What did you see from him?
Well, what I saw from him is I finally saw the glove flip that he, because what's the thing that always made Chaz good is he was competing, be cocky and strutting around out there all at 140 pounds or whatever he is. And I finally saw him with that demeanor again. I thought he kind of, he's had a rough stretch a little bit, but got away from that. But regardless, it was just good to see him out there with the confidence again. And that's what you have to play this game with confidence. It's not going to give it to you. It's not going to be a magic wand that makes you play well again. You got to believe in what you're doing and stick with it. So it's good to see him settle in and actually strut around a little bit, as crazy as that sounds.
When Utah went up 6-4, and when ASU came off the field, did you sense any frustration at all on how maybe the last 2 runs, one of the runs have been scored unearned?
Sense frustration. I'll tell you, I won't say it was frustration, but I'll say for the first time all year, actually saw a couple guys get after each other in the dugout, which we've been waiting for, is to hold each other accountable. And in a good way. You know, they're friends, but it was good to see guys say things to each other or act accordingly to each other, because that was, you know, not acceptable play. And so rather than it always be coming from the coaching staff, you know, you start growing up, you know, you start turning the corner when players hold each other accountable. And so I wouldn't say it was frustration at that point. I would say that it actually was maturing in my eyes. We're finally, you know, finally guys were communicating with each other and maybe non-verbally.
Why do you think it's taken so long for this to?
It's a young group, you know, when you've got as many freshmen as we do. I think sometimes the natural tendency is for guys to wait and say, well, you know, can I do this or should I do this? They're older than me, I should defer to them. But when you hit a point where you lose umpteen games in a row, you kind of throw that aside and say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm not going to wait anymore, I'm going to step up and do that. So that kind of, very observant, but that happened tonight, so it was good.
Spencer's within the single season program home run record and the national freshman home run record. Are those things that you think he's thinking about at all, or that you guys even tell him about?
No, one, I have no idea what they are. Two, if he's thinking about them, I'll slap him upside the head. I really don't. I hope that's not on his radar. I hope he just continues to throw up good at bats like he's doing, but I don't know what they are. So keep that stuff out of the press, boys and girls. So I honestly, he's level-headed. He's about throwing together a quality bat. He is. And I said it a few weeks ago. I think when he hit his tying or whatever, I think we lost. I genuinely think if you'd ask him, would you trade it for a win? I think he would do that. Bedtime.
All right.